Hey there! Welcome to Ask a Best-Selling Author. I'm your host, Dr. Angela Lauria. I'm the founder of the Author Incubator, and I'm joined today by author Mark J. Silverman. He is the author of Only Tens, and Mark and I talked for the first time a little over a year ago, and one of the questions that I asked him, one of the questions that I ask all of the applicants to our program is, a year from now, when your book has been written, it's been published, you're a best-selling author, how is your life different? And he gave me some answers at that time, and now we're going to do a check back. I'm going to ask you, Mark, it's been over a year since your book has come out. How is your life different? How are things different a year later?
Whatever I said in that conversation,
yeah, you get it?
I had no idea what was in store for me, because I was just only hoping this little book would, come to fruition if I worked with you. What happened after that was having thousands of people tell me that the book changed their lives. Mm-hmm. That to me is huge. If it made a difference in one person's life besides mine, it was worth all the effort, all the money, all the resources, everything. But the fact that it was a pretty big deal to some people, that was outstanding. Growing my business, getting a full coaching practice from,
You were a relatively new coach. Right? How long have you been coaching?
I've been coaching now for, I would say, 4 years. I've been out of mainstream corporate America for 3 years.
Okay.
So at that point, I was just coming into my own.
About a year and a half.
Because I spent most of my time learning my craft. And really, because I believe if I'm going to be a coach, you should be a coach because you're good at it, that there's skills and that there's my own work that I needed to do. So I spent 2 years really diving deep, and this book is part of that, diving deep into the mastery of coaching and the mastery of myself so that I can help other people with what they need to accomplish and want to accomplish. But since then, getting a full coaching practice with really amazing people who are aligned with what I bring to the table, what I can help them with, has really been great. One of the coolest things, I just got back from Hawaii. I brought a dozen people to Hawaii to work on growing their businesses and really transforming their lives. And we had them swim with dolphins and swim with manta rays. And what I loved about the trip was that was besides the point, the transformation and the growth in themselves and in their business and the feedback I'm getting from that trip. These destination workshops are really something that unexpected and beautiful for me.
I want to talk about the value proposition for those retreats. So one of the things that happens before you're known, before you have credibility, before you have a following, is actually selling come swim with the dolphins. It can be really hard. You can I think a lot of people feel like if you're selling, a lot of people say this to me, like, oh, it's easy for you, you're selling a book, it's tangible. So now you're at the point in your career where you didn't want to necessarily double your business, make $10,000 in a weekend, lose 10 pounds in 3 days. So talk about how you were able to sell out a destination retreat. What were those value propositions?
So there's always you would almost call it a bait and switch or a both and. So
I call it the Trojan horse of coaching.
Sure. So for me, the both and is people really need to learn to find something internal, find that mast internal that's connected to whatever, if they call it God, if they call it the universe, whatever that is, in order to really have a way to steer their lives. So Only Tens, for me, getting the right things done is a process of learning about yourself, learning about myself, so that I know how to make choices and how to be on an even keel with the things that I want to get done. The same thing for selling coaching business. People are going to spend money. Corporations will write a check, a person will write a check because their business is going to expand, because they want to make a change. There's something tangible in the world. What us really good coaches know is that what they really need is an internal shift, because whatever it is out there isn't going to change their lives. It's what's in here that's going to change their lives and then change the out here there. But at that point, they don't really care. And it changes anyway. So that's kind of the both end for me, is how do I sell? Yes, you're going to make more money. Yes, you're going to get a promotion. Yes, you're going to get what you want. That's the easy part. The part I really want to work with is I want to change you so you enjoy all that.
And what I love about this trip to Hawaii and the destination retreats you're doing now is because so much of your business is based on referrals, you can just tell them the truth. It's just like, hey, we're going to work on the deep inner stuff. And I think knowing that the people who are working with you want to work with you, and I know you have a partner in this too, that it's not about, oh, they're going to be convinced by the beautiful dolphins or waves.
That was a distraction, actually. It would have been so much better to have a Holiday Inn on the side of the highway instead of going to a beautiful destination, because it made it look like that was the attraction. And what it was both of those things. And doing these destinations, going to a whale sanctuary, the things that we have planned are to get people out of themselves into another worldly experience so that they can shift. And then when they come back, one person just told me $188,000 added to their business the week after they came back from the workshop. So it really does have tangible differences.
For you, have you noticed in the course of the last year the way your business has changed? Are you going deeper with clients? Are the clients who are coming to you, are they having kind of meatier goals?
It's interesting. I've always gone deep with my clients. When I first started, it was much more life coach-like. Mm-hmm. So people were coming to me with problems. I don't really work with people with problems anymore. I work with people who are trying to create things in the world, people who are trying to build. So the interesting thing is they're coming to me with these exciting things. They're going to build a health application that's going to change the way people interact with their doctors. They're changing the way their marketing company is going out into the world and interacting with people and music and all kinds of stuff. Those are cool things that they're coming with and they're creating, but that doesn't change the fact that most of our sessions are about going really deep. So that because the really great people in the world dig deep to find out who they can be so they can expand to be so big.
Totally. And then let's talk about among colleagues. I know you're in a pretty high level mastermind. You associate with a lot of very successful coaches. Do you think the way that you're perceived has changed over the last year?
Writing a book is still, you wrote a book? How did you write a book? That's really a fun question. Well, I wrote a book. Would you like to speak to Angela? And the thing I do tell them is, by the way, write a book in 3 months. Do not take a year or two to write a book, because I have so many people who haven't written the book that's in them. By having these bookends here and getting it done and having a publishing date and working backwards, a book came out. So that's kind of fun. So it really is that people who I admire, who are all over the internet and all over this stuff, who still haven't written their book, when they find out that I've written my book, it was published, or 2 books, and it's published and it's out on the shelf. That's pretty cool.
It doesn't. I mean,
and for myself too.
Right. I just think there is, and I think because I do think everything comes from the inside out. I think as an author, you gain a certain level of confidence, and then as that confidence comes through, the way people perceive you is different, because they're like, oh, you wrote a book, and then you're like, why, yes, I did. And that whole back and forth, like I have just watched over the course of a year how when somebody comes out with a book, the opportunities they get invited to, whether it's being invited to a podcast or a joint venture or a co-teaching, like the people who are inviting them to things, just energetically.
Yeah, I think I've done a dozen podcasts.
Really?
Where if I hadn't written a book, nobody would want to talk to me. But people are like, you wrote this book, let's talk about it. That's cool. That's
right.
fun.
So many amazing things. Well, if you are thinking about writing a book, and a year from now where you want to be, how you want your life or your business to be different, share that in the comments below. Or if you have questions about what's possible within a year, ask those below. Please share and like this video and join us for another episode of Ask a Bestselling Author.